Greetings, everyone. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to day 2 of albums that turned 50 years old in 2021. That's right, we're looking back on the great year that was 1972, a pretty landmark year in the history of music. I'm going to be picking out my 31 favorite albums from 1972 as they turned 50 years old this year. And as I announced yesterday on day 1, I'm going to cheat just a little bit because we did have a handful of bands who released 2 albums in 1972, and both albums, in my opinion, were pretty damn great. And I did not want to clog up my list with the same bands over and over and over again. So on those particular day where I'm going to talk about that band, you're going to get both albums on that particular day. So they're only going to count as one selection because I want to make sure we give as much love to as many different artists and albums as we can this month. So that's what we're going to be doing when it comes to that. So anyway, let's move on to day 2 here. So this particular album released June 16th, 1972, produced by Ken Scott and David Bowie, released on RCA Records. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars, also known just as Ziggy Stardust. The 5th album from David Bowie, a glam rock classic, if that's what you want to call it. I never really know what to call the music of David Bowie. He's like the musical chameleon, right? I guess, the kind of the genesis of glam rock could be kind of traced back to this album. Certainly some of the stuff of Slade, certainly T-Rex, right? That's kind of like where glam rock got its genesis, but a fantastic album, a legendary album that, still sounds pretty fresh to this day. I will say that it's not my favorite David Bowie album, but it ranks up there. It's in the top 5 easily. There are some days where it may be like a number 2 or 3 or 4, right? My number 1 is usually my number 1, but I particularly like this one a lot, and it's got a lot of hits on it. Again, this was David Bowie on vocals and a little bit of guitar and saxophone, Mick Ronson on guitars, backing vocals, Trevor Bolder on bass guitar. Of course, Trevor Bolder would go on to Uriah Heep for many, many years. May he rest in peace after that. Mick Woodmansey on drums. And then you got Rick Wakeman, who shows up on harpsichord, and then Dana Gillespie on backing vocals. Wakeman is not credited, but he played some keyboards on and off in the studio with David Bowie early on before he joined Yes and before he joined the Strawbs, right? So on to the album itself, a classic album, a classic rock staple. All right, so many radio songs, right? You got, of course, Suffragette City on here. You've got Starman, Moon Age Daydream is such a great hard rockin' song. The Longing 5 Years, Soul Love, It Ain't Easy, another really catchy song. Lady Stardust, how about Star itself? Awesome stuff. Hang On to Yourself, the title track Ziggy Stardust, classic. Rock and Roll Suicide. Again, this is just a great, to call this a concept album, it's probably like a loose concept album. I don't think Bowie ever admitted that this was a concept album, but the whole idea of the album based on the portrayal of this kind of, not real rock star. Actually, kind of Bowie just kind of became this guy for a couple of years, and then kind of telling the tale throughout. It's just really, really good, and it's just a good, upbeat, sing-along hard rock record. Again, called glam rock at the time, I guess because of the way they dressed and all that kind of stuff. But it's a lot of great guitar licks and riffs from Mick Ronson on here. Bowie's playful vocals are just absolutely spectacular on the whole album. The whole band just sounds really good. And the songs are just really, really memorable, whether they're more kind of mellow, moody pieces or the more pop-laden, upbeat, hard rock type stuff. I mean, just start to finish, just a great, great album. And it's a legendary album for a reason. And, I think, again, a lot of this was played on the radio, FM rock radio over the years, so it's very familiar to a lot of people. But even the deep cuts are really, really strong on here. And, for many people, this period in the history of David Bowie, definitely one of his greatest. I mean, you got, The Man Who Sold the World obviously came before this, a couple albums before this. That's the one I really like. Hunky Dory, and then Aladdin Sane, and then if you want to call, Pin-Ups, the covers album, and then Diamond Dogs, and then he would go move on to the kind of the White Soul thing. But this chunk of albums, the kind of like the Ziggy period, quite strong. And again, you look back to the genesis of the whole glam rock period. You're looking at it right here. So Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars. David Bowie is my pick for day number 2. List yours in the comments below. We're going to go through the entire month of January, celebrating albums from 1972, the great albums from 1972, my personal favorite albums from 1972, and your personal favorite albums from 1972. Remember, there's no right or wrong answer. We're all going to pick different stuff because there's a lot to choose from. I mean, on the last day, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of honorable mentions, but I even had to trim that because my overall list was well over 100 albums from this year that I really liked a lot. So I limited to the actual picks, and then I have 20 honorable mentions for the last day just to kind of throw out at you, just so you kind of know where I'm coming from and how hard it was for me to trim this list. Pretty damn hard. So Ziggy, David Bowie is my pick today. Visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Stay tuned for more coming up each and every day throughout January, plus all the other stuff we have here on the channel. Hudson Valley Squares on Monday, Tuesday in the Prague Seat, Wednesday What's Hot with Sea of Tranquility, new album reviews day, Thursday the Monsters Den, Friday morning at the Funhouse with Martin Popoff, Sunday album homework assignment, and in between all of that you get things like album rankings, ranking the albums, top 10 song shows. We got our, which hopefully will be weekly shows with Simon Bray and Stephen Reed, the UK connection. So all sorts of fun stuff here on the channel. Occasional rants, occasional interviews with rock stars and celebrities. So that's all coming up on the channel throughout the year. And as we are in 2022 now, right? So another year of content here on the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again real soon. Take care.